All right. Again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. I like the way Andrea put it, joining from my home in the Bahamas. Okay, and missing out on a beautiful beach day. Okay, well, we'll make it worthwhile, yeah, to support my African people. We know, Peter and Grace are your African people, and everybody here as well. So. Yeah, I like the way you put it. From the Bahamas, thank you. Ade from Lagos, Nigeria. Isaac from Nigeria as well. Aniken from Nigeria. Oh, Sweden. That's Frank. Frank, thanks for joining us from Sweden. Emmanuel from Nigeria. Josephine from Tanzania. Of course, all the way from Melbourne, Australia here. I've introduced a couple of people from the US, from Nigeria, from Tanzania before now. Precious from Alberta. Oh, okay. Yeah, Precious, thanks for joining us. That's my sister. All right, cool. Um, We will just go in because it's just 3 minutes into the session today. I believe other people are going to join us. And right now, first of all, this is the Disciplined Agile Meetup, the Africa Disciplined Agile Meetup. We try to show up every single month to talk about not only the emerging technologies, but also we talk about a lot of things that happen in the project management world. And so I'm just going to do a quick intro of the team and why we are here. Um, we all know, and especially the returning members of the community, know that is a group committed to promoting the real value of project management, everything under that big umbrella of project management, lean, agile practices, theory of kind of constraints, emerging tech, and so on and so forth. And this is where we connect with individuals and organizations that have huge interest in developing their practices. And of course, we are not bound by just Scrum or Lean, everything under the big umbrella of delivery and, project management practices is what we deal with here. The promise we give is you will attend this session and then you will at least be um, able to apply some of the tips that we share here when you go back to work. And so this is what we do. Just as a reminder, this year we want to focus more on tech, on project management as we normally do, and on agile. So you'll be seeing a lot of sessions that talks about emerging technologies. Today being one of them, and I'm going to introduce our amazing speaker very, very soon. Of course, this is brought to you by Pitt Lauren Consulting, an authorized training partner with PMI, which also suggests that if you have, your training needs, talk to us. We've got amazing trainers that will really meet your needs. Let's connect and we'll talk about that. So today, who do we have? This is one of my brain trusts, Grace Johnson, who will be talking to us about AI for project managers, smarter decision making with predictive analytics. Grace is, before I go into a bio, which is quite long as well, but I'm just going to quickly say something just informally. Grace is one of the people that I, connect with behind the scene. And when it comes to picking people's brain on things that are happening in the world of project management and emerging technologies, but particularly artificial intelligence, I run to Grace. We also connect on other platforms that we meet regularly, in fact, frequently, just to solve problems for the African African professionals. So I do not take this for granted or lightly for joining us here and sharing your wealth of knowledge with us. So just a little bit more about Grace. Grace is a seasoned project management professional and an agile professional with over a decade of professional experience that spans business agility, organizational transformation, and strategic execution. And she has worked across different industries. She's a co-founder of for Framework for AI Transformation and also a co-founder of Aventria Consulting, where she specializes in helping businesses harness the power of artificial intelligence and emerging technologies as a whole. Just to add, she is a professional Kanban trainer. She's also an ATP instructor for PMP and also several other certifications. I know that Grace is passionate about the intersection between tech and project management, and she so much believes in leveraging digital tools to optimizing project outcomes, to drive stakeholder engagement, and also to foster the culture of continuous improvement. You will find Grace in many global communities. I think we can mention her role as a trustee for the Agile 20 Reflect Festival, where she mobilized participants for the event worldwide. Now, without further ado, I think I'll just invite you to share your screen, Grace, so that we can go through today's session. And I hope that we have a good day here today. Just as a reminder, people, if you have questions, please use the chat box. I'll be monitoring that while Grace is presenting, and then we will deal with that at the end of the session today. Over to you, Grace.
Okay, thank you so much, Pete, for having me. Good evening from Abuja, everybody. It's so good to be here. I know quite a few people around here, and the big brother, Big Bro Taiwo, as I call him, Patrick Taiwo, Andrea, Pete. Myself and Pete have been working, I think, together, collaborating for almost 3 years now. Like you said, we meet regularly. He's actually somebody I respect a lot. So prior to actually working with Pete, I've known a lot of things he's done from the background, and he's that person that has a big heart for Africa. I can attest to that. Seeing a lot of free events that would have been a paid gig that Pete had, taken up, supported agile communities in Africa and in Nigeria. I can attest to that. And he's also doing that with the PMI Agile think tank. So this is my own way of also saying thank you for all you've done. Thank you for this community. Thank you for staying true to yourself and pouring out your heart to really up our game in Africa and contribute to, bridging the skills gap. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Okay. Yeah. So we're talking on AI for project management, smarter decision making with predictive analytics. I love things that emerge. I mean, I love technology. I love being at the cutting edge of technology, especially as it affects my profession and my career as well. So that was one of the driving force for getting into AI and how it affects project management and especially businesses in Africa. I remember back when we were doing the Agile 20 Reflect Festival, my pain for Africa at that time was the fact that we didn't really have enough Agile communities in Africa to be represented on the world stage. And we had so many organizations that were still struggling to, begin to implement Agile and become flexible and adaptable in this ever emerging and evolving world of business. So when AI hits the market, especially with ChatGPT, I took it upon myself to do every course I found, every certification I could come across. And then I found myself partnering with some colleagues of mine in the US and in the UK to draft the framework for AI transformation, especially as how AI affects businesses and the evolving nature of businesses, and how it can help facilitate and help position businesses to evolve and thrive in this ever-evolving world of business. So in a nutshell, that's me. Oh, what's happening? Okay. So Pete had explained that. Oh no. Okay. Okay. Back to the agenda for today. So we'll be talking a bit about the evolving role of the project manager. This is something I always talk about in a number of workshops I found myself and trying to help organizations to understand why they have to pivot quickly, position on themselves to thrive in this disruptive world, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world of businesses. So I'll be talking about the evolving role of the project manager, and we'll talk a bit about introducing AI and predictive analytics, how AI powers smart project decisions, predictive analytics in action. I hope we're able to do a demo, even if it's just for 3, 2, or 5 minutes. I love that because I love doing hands-on, going into the practical and helping project managers find themselves in their workflows and seeing how AI helps, and then implementation strategy for predictive analytics, and then we'll begin to ask questions and see where we go from there. So the evolving role of the project manager. We know even the PMBOK has evolved over the years. 2021 being very pivotal when even the exams, Agile was incorporated into the exams, and I think close to 51% Agile. It talks of PMI being that organization that is positioned to listen to the market trends, listen to the needs of businesses, and evolve with the times to ensure that we are not left behind in our project management practices. So the challenges we find ourselves in this VUCA kind of world, volatile, uncertain, and ambiguous, is that we have increased complexity. So projects are becoming more intricate and involving stakeholders like technology as well. So, and then we have resource constraints. The issue of budgeting is always something organizations will always hammer on. Stay within budget, so we can have a good ROI on our investments. And then the availability of skilled personnel, especially in this emerging role as project managers, and then incorporating technology like AI into our workflows. Changing priorities, project objectives, scope frequently shifting, and then requiring adaptability. And that's where our Agile comes into play as well. AI has not come to throw away Agile. From my experience and dealing with organizations, you need tons of Agile, the knowledge, in-depth knowledge of Agile to be able to help organizations transform and evolve and position themselves in this world, evolving world of business. In fact, in the past couple of weeks, I found myself in very intense environment, trying to help organizations both transition into Agile and also incorporating AI into their workflows. It's not an easy job. So organizations that were not able to jump onto the Agile, the popularity Agile gained and leverage on it and do Agile transformation are now caught in doing Agile transformation and also doing AI transformations, well, embedding AI into their workflows. We have unpredictable risk. I know our risk log would have expanded and increased. It used to be some certain criteria, indices, but now we also have technology as being a huge factor in identifying our risk and then creating mitigation measures, right? And then what are the opportunities? Wherever you have challenges, there are always opportunities. Like I always say, this is the time where we leverage data for data-driven insights and utilize AI to analyze projects, identify patterns, and gain actionable insights. This is like how project managers should begin to upskill, right? Begin to understand how to analyze data, interpret data, identify patterns, and gain actionable insight. And I think that's my Kanban knowledge has been one of has been instrumental in my practice as a project manager. Because when you're doing Kanban, you'll be dealing with a lot of data, data visualization, data, explaining data, identifying patterns, and also beginning to gain actionable insights around your data. And then enhanced decision making, where you have data, where you have patterns, you're able to come to informed decisions, not just decisions by emotions or decisions by the team dynamics and all. You have data at your hand to be able to make informed decisions, and then improved collaboration. So in the learning process, in the learning curve of implementing AI and also doing Agile, there's always a lot of collaboration until it's one of the best times to really collaborate with people. I've heard people say AI is coming to take a lot of jobs, but one thing you should know, and I always emphasize, is that AI thrives on human expertise. Never forget that. AI thrives on human expertise. So there are a lot of organizations that have not been able to come up to speed with embedding AI to their organizational workflows. And then they would need the human expertise to be able to do that. And that is where you and myself come into play. That is where we have the opportunity to upskill and make ourselves valuable in this evolving world of business, and then optimize project outcomes. By automating tasks and predicting potential issues, AI can improve efficiency and success rates, right? Our goal is the outcomes. And so these are the opportunities AI and the shifting role of the project manager brings to us, right? We're basically moving from the PMO as we know it to value delivery organizations, right? So have that in mind. Okay. Okay. Here we talk about AI and predictive analytics. So I know when I talk to people, I hope we have some kind of interactive kind of way, or you could probably talk to me in the chat. What do you basically do with AI in your organizational workflows? Let's have a bit of a chat. What do you do with AI in your organizational workflows? What do you currently do? Have you currently embedded AI, or are you actually using AI in your organizational workflows? It's been a while I used Zoom. He's face-to-face most of the time these days. Where is the chat icon?
Yeah, we're here to support if there's anything you want us to do.
Okay, let me hear what the comments are. What are you currently doing with AI?
Yes, if you look into your organizations, folks, how have you embedded AI into your operations, into your workflows? What are you currently doing? Yeah, okay, cool. All right. I guess if you want me to read out what I can see, that would be fine. So there are two comments here, and I know other people are typing at the moment. Shalom says she uses AI for research in organizations for research purposes. Tehile did mention that organizational, no, but personal, he or she has been using, AI in part for that. Okay, cool. Andrea, AI for social media, content development, and research. And it keeps coming. Patrick did mention at the end of the day, AI is a tool in the hands of practitioners. Being skilled enough to use it is what keeps you above the crowd, and we assist your effort improving processes.
Oh, nice.
All right, cool.
I use AI to write. Yeah.
Please go ahead. Two more, and then I'll let you take the stage as well. Shegun did mention something about using Copilot for communications management. And Precious, we have embedded AI for supporting users of our software. The help button redirects users to an interactive AI interface that fetches resources for our help center. That is amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. 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 Oh, nice. Nice. So I see people use AI for personal. I think the one that says personal, your organization has not gotten to the point of using AI for their workflows. And then the one they use for research, the other one that talks of redirecting customers and all of that. The ones for virtual meetings, yeah, I think that's really wise. talked of using co-pilots. I remember I did a training recently on how to really embed co-pilots into your workflows, and the emphasis being that it's a proprietary tool. Thank you very much for your responses. Well, AI systems learn from data and identify patterns, right? Through machine learning algorithms and continuously improve by processing project information, right? So for organizations that have proprietary tools, right? So I was talking to this organization and they never knew they had proprietary tools enough to help to embed into the organizational workflow and help them in every aspect of their businesses. I take the example of Copilot, as someone mentioned. Beyond just using it for meetings, extracting the transcript, there's a whole lot you can do with Copilot in your teams, a whole lot you can do with it, embed it into your emails, your forms. In fact, it's now MS 365 Copilot and not just MS 365 anymore. So Copilot has been embedded in almost every product within Microsoft. So for most organizations that use Copilot, MS 365, it's as good as you having an already proprietary tool that is hosted within your organizational workflow. So there is quite a number of things you can do with this, from your Excel, asking it to do predictive analytics, right? And then coming to an informed decision, to also embedding it into other tools, right? Proprietary tools that help you for your project management workflows. So, like I said, we have AI also in predictive analytics, and this is where we use historical data and our current data to help forecast what may be for the next sprint, the next project cycle, the next milestone cycle, or even the entirety of the project. So that's what predictive analytics will do for you. Back in our traditional project management, what we do is basically use calculations, formulas to help predict costs, to help scheduling, to help also in managing scope, right? But with the emergence of AI, we can easily embed any kind of AI, whether it's open source or proprietary tools we purchase within our organizations, to embed into our workflow, and it can help us just by the art of prompt engineering, can help us to predict project outcomes, what might be obtainable for our next sprint, resource utilization, and so many other indices within your project, right? So we use AI, like I said, for project optimization. It helps provide insight for smarter decisions by analyzing multiple variables, recommending optimal approaches for project success. One good thing about AI, especially the proprietary one that are hosted within your organizational workflow, is that they have access to a variety of data. So if you have your data hosted in a cloud, right, the AI that is embedded within your organizational workflow has access to all of this data and is able to pick any data that corresponds with whatever input you input into the AI system, and it gives you an output based off of an existing data, right? So I was given an example the other day in a meeting we had where Pete also was there, and we just did a simple prompt on Copilot hosted on Teams, and we asked Copilot to help us generate a business benefits document for a particular project, and this is actually a live project. And so when we created the prompts and we imputed it, the output he gave was outstanding. And the people I was doing the workshop with asked a simple question: how is it that this AI is able to know that this is the rate at which our projects are failing? I mean, how does he get to know that this is the structure of our organization, this is how our work is hosted, and this is so much information? And I'm like, the way AI works these days is that it thrives on data. And the data that has been fed to this particular AI, which is your proprietary tool, is the organizational data, the entirety of your organizational data, which is hosted in the cloud. So it goes in quickly, picks up the data, processes it, and gives you an output based off of your historical data. And that's so wonderful. I mean, our previous predictive analytics we do manually may just be based off of our last project or last two projects, but with AI, we can do so much more by digging into years and years of data, right? Historical data to help us understand patterns and also predict possible outcomes, right? Okay, so how AI powers smarter project decisions? Use cases and examples. So for example, if we're talking about risk, we can easily identify risk early, right? Based off of the data. Like I said, AI, one, thrives on human expertise, and two, it thrives on the quality of data you have, right? It thrives on the quality of data you have. So if your organization per se would want to implement a proprietary tool, probably your organization approaches a vendor and asks the vendor to develop a proprietary tool for that is contextual to your organizational need and unique to your business environment, right? It would, right, be developed or created based off of the quality of organizational data that has been hosted within your systems over time, right? And in so doing, you are able to pick up risk from previous projects and forecast for possible risk within your current projects, right? So that is what AI can actually do for us. Cost estimation, improve budget forecasting, and all of this, like I said, are dependent on data and the data infrastructure you have at hand. Resource allocation as well. AI can help us optimize team assignment, predict workload, and avoid bottlenecks. You'd ask me, how could this be possible? Well, once you're able to embed AI into your organizational workflow, what it can actually do for you is also pick up all of your team members. It can analyze their capabilities based off of probably their availability or their qualifications and their expertise, right? And be able to assign them to projects, right? I was also given an example in the recent workshop I did. I'm like, if peradventure you were having a meeting on Teams and you brought your Copilot live, right? Copilot can be able to, you can pick up your transcript, embed it, impute it into your Copilot and ask it to develop a business charter for a particular project. Assign team members based off of the people that were available in the meeting, their expertise, and you would analyze those data and give you an output. Check their availability based off of their calendars and also give you like a schedule and availability of resources, human and whatever, for a particular project you've just developed a charter on, right? So that's what AI is also capable of doing. So you can be able to also optimize your schedules, predict project timelines, identify delays, and adjust patterns. Like I said, all this is dependent on the data and the quality of data you have within your cloud or storage infrastructure. So how do we implement predictive analytics in our projects, right? Forecasting, like I said, we can do cost forecasting, timeline forecasting, and also identify potential risks in our projects. So let's look at a systematic approach to doing this. Okay, like I was saying, being project managers, we are known for having a structured way to work. Not rigid structures, but structures that helps us not just create pilots, but also scale whatever approach we have across our organizations, right? Once a pilot works, it's a green light to say we can scale across organizations. And that's why we have like a process, a systematic approach to implementing AI-powered insights into our project workflows, right? So first of all, as we always do, is to define our objectives, right? So always advise people not just to jump onto implementing AI, but have a goal in mind. And the goal should always be aligned with organizational strategic objectives, right? So whatever the team is doing should be aligned with what the PMO is doing. Whatever the PMO is doing should be aligned with the portfolio and then scales up to even the executive level. So we should always have that in mind, that we don't work just in silos, but have this kind of communication that trickles down top to bottom and bottom to top, right? Okay, so we define objectives, right? Identify which decisions need better insights and clear goals. Like I always say, what are those valuable aspects of your business that need help? What are those repetitive aspects of your business that you think need help? What are those repetitive or monotonous aspects of your project that would need the help of AI? Those are the areas you should be looking to implementing AI, and especially predictive analytics, right? So you identify areas with clear goals, and then you begin to, we start from there. You collect data, gather past project data, team performance metrics, and relevant market conditions. Like I always say, our project should always be aligned with strategic objectives. So we are not creating products or creating value that's only valuable to the team or to the PMO, but is able to communicate to the wider organization and also the external environment of the organization, right? And then this is where we now get to the point of, apart from collecting data, you have to also liaise with the team to have the green light that the team is comfortable with whatever tool you want to choose, right? They can also be stakeholders in deciding, coming to a consensus decision as to what tools fit the particular project or the particular sprint, right? So choose the right tools, select AI-powered project management solutions that align with your needs. And like I would guess, PMO will also have to approve that. So your project lead or your Scrum Master have to be in communication with the PMO to help, integrate, secure, or bring in the tools to your workflows and also embed and integrate them into existing workflows. And then this is where you now have the green light to begin to analyze and interpret your data. Right. So what would be the common roadblocks to our AI predictive analytics implementation in our organizational workflow? Like I always say, it's the data quality, right? We all know that AI systems feed off of data. The quality of data you input is also the quality of the output you get. So garbage in will be definitely garbage out. So incomplete, inaccurate, or inconsistent project data can lead to unreliable predictions and diminished capabilities for the AI system and also the confidence of the AI system, right? So there has to be a way where we are able to gather data, right? Host the data, and also can pick them up at any given time. And this is where also our agile comes to play. As I was having a workshop recently, taking them through implementing Kanban in their workflows. One thing that Kanban helps us do is not just visualize our workflows, map our workflows, determine the bottlenecks, but it also helps us host data from previous projects. So if you go through the workflows of previous projects, you're able to get to the down column where you've hosted a number of data, right? Past project data that can become feeders into your next project. So that's always important. Quality, accuracy, and the consistency of your data always matters. Now, one of the bottlenecks also is the resistance to AI adoption. At this point, we can only be fooling ourselves if we are resisting AI, because in a space of 2-3 years, we've gone from Gen AI that had limited capabilities to generative AI that have outstanding capabilities to now AGIs, artificial general intelligence, that can focus on specific tasks, agentic AIs that can do your workflows from start to finish, set up your business from start to finish, do everything you need to do from start to finish, right? So if we're still resisting AI adoption, it's as though we are like the ostrich that will just put their head down into the sand and not worry about whatever the environment is saying, whether the wind is blowing east to north, east to west, or from north to south. We cannot but, come together, have a consensus agreement or decision as to what kind of AI and how AI adoption should proceed as a team. And I remember my husband at some point telling me one of his colleagues was shouting down them in the team and telling them not to use Copilot because Copilot was going to expose their company data to other people, meaning their Copilot was communicating with other co-pilots, and I'm like, oh no, this is the point where organizations will need to train their staff to understand that your co-pilot is proprietary to your own organization and is hosted within your cloud and only has access to your data and can only give you output based off of your data. So it's important that organizations also train the workforce on AI, what AI stands for, what AI can be used for. Proprietary, like I said, it's important. I have come to realize a lot of people don't know the distinction between proprietary AI tools and open source AI tools. So it's important you know what tools are proprietary to your organization, what tools are open source. The open source tools are the very popular ones we know, and those tools are the ones that can easily expose your organizational data to the rest of the world. So I always advise, do not take company data, sensitive personal data, sensitive organizational data to your open source tools. That's trouble. Except for the data that your organization has made public. You can make use of those data within your open source tools, but please do stick to the proprietary tools your organization has purchased for you. That is the only way you can fend off attacks, data breaches, and cyber attacks. So the lack of analytical skills, like I said, I think we ran off of our project management, doing our structures, doing our predictive analytics, doing a lot of the processes, and we forgot that we needed this very important skill of analyzing data, understanding data, interpreting data, picking up insights from data, right? So at this point in world history, organizations are beginning to find it pertinent to begin to upskill and train their workforce on the need for data literacy, understanding what patterns are, what a particular pattern is saying, what you mean by a burn-down chart, a burn-up chart, and how you can use those data to actually interpret team dynamics and the delivery of value over time. So we've come to the point where you have to have basic analytical skills, but also within proprietary tools like Copilots, right, which you can embed within your Excel, right? You are able to do prompting and get it to give you patterns, give you insights from data, and also create dashboards, pivot tables for you. That's as much as AI can do for you. But you also need to understand what the AI is saying. So you have to be that competent project manager that's within the loop, right? You're seeing what the output is, you're vetting it, and knowing what it means within the context of your project management practice. So, like I said, one of the solutions we can have for the challenges that we encounter with our AI implementation is data cleaning, right? It's a ton of work, but better late than never. It's important we begin to organize our data, make sure they're consistent, and clean up our data for the world we're finding ourselves in. And then also for organizations, change management is important. Upskilling project teams is more important than ever. Like I said, we're stuck in 49 processes, 5 phases of project, and now we're talking of value delivery. We're talking of project managers understanding the context of their business, understanding the context of the organization, and ensuring that whatever outputs they're turning out from their teams is in line with organizational goals. At the end of the day, you have to understand business acumen. Business acumen. You have to come to the understanding of what you are doing within your project and how it means business for your organization. Okay, so these are some of the ways we could embed AI into our workflows for predictive analytics. We can integrate AI tools into, connect AI tools to our existing data sources. We can do model selection, that's for at an organizational level or for team level, if that's permitted within the organization. We can create automated alerts and then create decision supports for each of those processes, right? But like I said, a lot of us that work in organizations have these already hosted within our proprietary tools. The problem is we're not aware. And this is where training for our teams and our PMOs come in, really important. So at this point, I'd like to give more time because I love a more interactive, kind of setup, right? I'd like us to do a demo, right? Using an open source tool. We could ask it to help us generate data. I have data, but the data I have, I realize can be difficult to mask, or probably I would not want to expose it. There are tons of data I have. We could create project-specific sprint data and then do some predictive analytics around it. And like I said, a lot of our AI is hosted, or I would say is hosted, on the foundation of prompt engineering. So if you are still yet to fine-tune your prompt engineering skills, now is just the best time for you to begin to do that. In this world of AI, the age of business, AI and all of that, we all have to keep fine-tuning our prompt engineering skills, learning to talk to AI and getting the right output out of AI. So let's start with the question before we go to our demo. Any questions? You're muted.
Yeah, there are plenty of questions. Well, so if there are probably 3 that I will talk about as of now, maybe we can start with 1 and then we look at a time, and then maybe we can deal with it the remaining afterwards. But the very first one that came first is from Shagun. He's talking about ethical AI. How about ethical use of AI? How can we validate the correctness of its outcome?
Okay, let me ask that quickly. So the ethical aspect of AI would depend on what your organization do with your approach to AI. And this is where we begin to ask organizations to develop an in-house organizational governance policy that helps guide employees on the use of AI, fairness, bias, and every other thing that surrounds AI. And while creating that document, it's important to reference all of the AI regulations around the world, especially for organizations that interact with the wider world, organizations that have remote teams spread across regions. It's important to develop an organizational governance policy, having recourse to all of those laws and also considering the risk around the use of AI. So that's one way to address it, right? And another way to address it is being the project manager, the expert within the loop. So you vet whatever output an AI churns out.
Yeah, very good answer to that. Thank you so much. I just need to mention that Elizabeth really, that's Elizabeth Lay, did mention a few things to support or to answer Shagun's question from the academia point of view. So she's been doing some amazing work in the education sector, and the experience is to be trained on prompting to know what they are feeding to any AI to get the right output, so that they can now use that approach to avoid or to treat the ethical use of AI. Okay, do you want me to ask the next question?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Adebowale did ask a question around speaking of AI tools. Can you share some of these tools or AI tools for productivity, for forecasting, for budgeting, for data? Maybe some examples that are good for this particular items that Ade has mentioned. Productivity, forecasting, budgeting, data creation, or analysis.
So a number of your open source tools can do a number of the things you've mentioned. Like I said, what you need to do is to learn how to prompt the machine, learn how to prompt AI. But specifically for people that work within organizations, right? You would have proprietary tools that have AI-enabled capabilities. So you have to leverage them. Example, like I said, is Copilot. Copilot is embedded in your Excel, is embedded in your emails, is embedded in your forms, is embedded in your Teams it would amaze you what the AI within your teams is capable of doing, right? So all of those have been embedded in all of those products to help you with the specific needs for those products, whether it's for data visualization, gathering insights, hosting, bringing all of your data in one place. All of it lies within your prompt engineering. But like I said, also organizations who are capable, we know of the big orgs that have asked that specific AIs are created custom for their organizational need. But like you also said, there are a number of tools on the internet that can give you, that can meet the specific needs you're asking, whether it's to create PPT, whether it's to create, to help you create dashboards or any other thing you're looking for. You just need to type the keywords and you have them. Well, like I said, the ones that will really give you those qualitative outputs would be tools that you would have to pay for. So you choose within the free tools, which have become really, really free, giving the number of tools that are coming out of China. You can do quite a number of things with them. Or if you want to settle with the ones who would rather give you more privacy, it's your choice.
Right, great. That's really very well answered. I wouldn't really add to that. But again, I think what I'm taking out of that is your average AI tool can support that, but you need to now use your discretion as a user, whether you want your information out there to train the open source AI, or you want it out there so that people can actually use it, or you want to deal with it privately. So if privacy and confidentiality is your watchword, then you need to use a paid AI too, but it can generally generate that to you. All right. I will also ask one question from Palladius. Palladius is asking about how does your organization measure the impact of AI on project success metrics? That's a generic question and a general one, to be honest. How does your organization measure the impact of AI on project success metrics? Do you have any insight to that, Grace?
So before, like I said, before your organization or your teams go on the wild goose chase of implementing AI, you have to have a desired outcome. What are the goals and what are the outcomes, right? You desire. I would want to go back to the case study I had. Sorry. And give you an example of an outcome. Okay, sorry.
Yep.
Oh no.
It's all right, just take your time.
Okay. Okay. Okay, there we go again. Okay, so this is an example of an outcome, right? Enhance project success rate by 20%, reduce project delays by 15%, or improved resource allocation. So what are your goals? We don't just go on a wild goose chase of implementing AI. There has to be an outcome. For example, do we want to implement AI in a logistic company, and what would be our goals? Is to reduce the time to get to customer by 15%, right? Or the accuracy and timeliness of delivery by 20%. Or we want to ensure that our systems are optimized, right? And can process requests quicker, right? There has to be an outcome before, a desired outcome and the goals before we go on the wild goose chase of implementing AI. Like I also said in some of my videos I do, our goal in implementing AI is to solve business problems, not to create new ones. So if you go into adopting AI without having the goals and the outcomes in mind, what you will invariably be doing is creating new problems for your business, right? So you have to also, like doing my slides, right? For example, I have had a lot of slides in the past maybe 2 weeks. I've had to do a lot of slides and AI have helped me. But one thing that I do really well is to ensure that I am the expert in the loop and I know what my profession is. I know what is true and I know what is false. So once Gamma, like I use Gamma, a paid version of Gamma to create my slides. I tell it what I want, and then I refine, right? And then it helped me deliver my job, probably create the slide in less than 20 minutes. Imagine what we used to do in back then. We could stay on slides for like a week, refining and refining and refining. But just by a mere prompt, I can basically tell Gamma what to do for me. And then for the images, especially for the introductory image, it gave me an image of, like you said, the bias, based off of the data it was fed with. It gave me probably somebody that looks not of the African race. And I wanted my slide to portray somebody from the African descent that was talking, and I asked it, okay, please give me, I created a prompt that says, I would like this image to be a professional project manager that is female and a Nigerian. And he ended up giving me, let's go back, this image, right? So I've had to create slide also for specific government institution. And I asked it to give me images that are contextual to that particular organization institution. So these are my goals. You have to have the goal in mind and be the expert in the loop to determine what is true, to determine what has become efficient, to determine that bottlenecks have been, uprooted or eliminated from your organizational workflows. Those are some of the outcomes you should be looking at when implementing.
That is excellent, excellent, excellent. And just a quick segue to a comment made by Elizabeth Lay. Elizabeth, like we said earlier, is in the academics, and she just did mention something about the fact that as a reviewer, I have compared my reviewer comments with AI critic feedback after the articles were published. For the most part, AI feedback had about 70% of what I had mentioned previously as a reviewer. So this is where professionalism comes in. This is where capability comes in. So if you have a tool that is meant to give you about a high percentage of what you would have done or what you've done in the past, then the rest 30% or 30 to 50% is what you need to now use to put that humanness in it, to put that capability in it, to make it better. Of course, prompt engineering can help you even increase that percentage. So I'm glad that we have quite a number of people that are using these tools in the room today. Thanks for your comments, Elizabeth. That is really helpful. All right, so let me just touch base with you, Grace. Do you want me to go ahead with the questions, or you want to? The questions are quite very important, but I just want to be sure that we're not missing anything by treating them.
Let's delight our customers.
I love that. I love that. All right, the core value of Agile. So let's really look at Shegun's next questions. Next question. It's talking about the medical and the pharmaceutical industry. This is an industry where misinformation can lead to thousands of casualties of death. Can we trust the output from AI in this industry? That's his question. Trust.
Again, AI models that have been created, especially for big orgs, they go for context-specific AI that are unique to their business environments. AI models that have been created for the medical fields are not the general AI that you have, the open source AI. Those are AI that are general, means that the knowledge is generalized, right? So for high-tech medical institutions, they have AI that are created custom for their needs, whether it's for surgery, whether it's for ensuring that you have, a centralized and an organized data for patients, and, categorizing them based on their needs or appointments, whatever it is, those AI are created. They are called narrow AI. So those AI, specific kind of AI, are created for the specific use of the industries where they would be deployed, right? But the general open source AI can easily give you, like you would say, when you open ChatGPT, it will tell you to always cross-check the output is giving you, because sometimes it hallucinates, yes. And I've had to use almost all of the open source AIs, and I know when they begin to hallucinate. And I just leave it and jump off to the next available one that I know is still fresh and can give me a desired output. So in those contexts specifically, models are created narrowly to meet the needs of the particular institution, their context, and also their business environment.
All right, cool. Thank you. So I think narrow AI will be, the way to go for you, Shegun, because that's a very, very good question to ask, especially when what we're dealing with is existential, which means it's a matter of life and death. You just don't want to give garbage, and there's no second chance in some of these things, right? So narrow AI might be, it's specifically built for those industries. All right, cool. Some people have been asking for example of AI tools. They are so numerous. Thank you, Patrick. I saw that you shared a list of free AI tools that are available, and a quick search can also give you that online. So I'll just pass on that. So we already have a link that you can have a list of those. Same thing with Andrea. Can you share some free and paid training sources for prompt engineering? I know. Thank you, Femi. You've answered that. PMI has some free resources, I mean, on prompt engineering. So I know both of us collaborate on that angle, Andrea. So we can use that. There are other, big organizations that are also that have created free resources on that as well. But Grace, do you have anyone you like that you want to propose?
Yeah, I use the general AIs. Basically, I use Claude. Claude can give you good data dashboard visualization. Yeah, it does that. ChatGPT also can give you good analysis. I saw Shegun talking about his PhD and the fact that they've been open to a lot of AI tools. For a fact, I can tell you AI can work with vast amounts of data and give you one of the best analysis you can ever hope for. But like he said again, it's all hosted on the foundation of prompt engineering. And I have in recent times also done academia work where I can't give you the details, but it's intense. It was intense. And I would tell you, if even to the level of originality, AI can help process your work to be as original without plagiarism as you would want it, right? But you have to also learn how to prompt the AI. Like I would say, I've done a lot of prompt engineering courses, but the talking to the AI course by PMI stands out because you have a lot of approaches to prompt engineering and also a lot of community videos on how people have succeeded with prompt engineering. But also note that it's important sometimes you mask your data when it's a sensitive kind of area and you would want some level of privacy. Yeah.
Yeah, Carol, thank you so much. And I think that's really good. And just for support, to support you on that as well, I also work across different sectors. And sometimes you might need to really support your ideas with some of these some of the tools. And so yeah, they are there to support you. Elizabeth, you did give a couple of ideas: DeepSeek, Gisu, got Graphy, we've got Claude, we've got ChatGPT, we've got Gamma. So all of these are there just to add to those asking for those tools. All right, so that's right. I'm just scrolling down to see what else we have. Yeah, Ebenezer, thanks for that comment. Be the expert in the loop. That is really, really important. That makes a difference in the output. Okay, cool. Palladius is asking one question. The AI, with AI, we are limiting to exercise the emotional intelligence. Okay, let me read it again. With AI, we are limiting the exercising of emotional intelligence, interactions, which would impact teams' cohesion and performance. How do we work out on such cases?
Again, like I said, don't jettison the use of your whiteboards in brainstorming. The best you can do is aggregate your thoughts and allow AI help you analyze it and be the human in the loop. Implement or adopt AI in those areas where they could maybe easily be time consuming, but you always need the team cohesion in generating original ideas, right? Sometimes the really original ideas are good, but may not be well structured, right? Like the whiteboard within MS 365, as I've used, what it can actually do for you is help you aggregate your thoughts and categorize them based off of whether it's risk or the category of goals for your organization. It can help you do that, but do not jettison the very important and fundamental aspects of team collaboration, exchange of ideas, and brainstorming. At best, what you should do with AI is help you organize your data, help analyze it, go through the analysis, ensure that you and the team have come to an agreement and have cohesion for whatever the AI has outputted, but never jettisoning the very foundational elements of collaboration, team cohesion, and everything that breeds trust in between.
Good answer. Good answer. Thank you so much. Yeah, so people are people, AI is AI. So the AI tools are not meant to replace people, they're meant to improve on what you give it. So don't start with AI, probably add AI in the loop as well. Now, I'm conscious of time. This is, although we're still within the 1 hour loop, but we will be rounding up very soon. Those are these are most of the questions that are here. I don't think I've missed anyone, but please, if I missed your question, just notify me in the chat box and I can definitely look at that. All right. Back to you, Grace. Any last shots that you want to share with us, and then I can.
Okay, I think the only thing I had wanted to do was do a prompt,
Yep.
right, around predictive analytics, and I think I'll do that quickly. What I'd also need the collaboration of everybody. I'd like you to think of a scenario within your team or any kind of project metrics you want to have maybe predictive analytics around. You can just craft something in the chat box and then let's create data around it and do some predictive analytics. If you can do that quickly, just craft something, anything around whatever you're working now. No need to make it really out there. You can mask a lot and then I could pick it from the chat and just do some prompting.
Okay. You just need one example, right?
Yes, just one. Something like this. You have anything?
Yeah, there is just one I just sent, but we can use your prompt as well if that's okay. I just created something on the chat that say create a step for implementing the ways of working for my team. But again, it's just an example. We can use the one you have on the screen.
Okay. Let's use a very simple prompt structure. Act as a seasoned project manager. Sorry. Sorry. For what organization?
For someone talked about pharmaceutical the other time.
Okay, for
For a pharmaceutical or medical environment, yeah.
organization. Okay, go ahead.
That's supposed to be act as.
Act as, yeah. Okay. Okay,
Yep.
go ahead.
Act as the seasoned project manager for a pharmaceutical organization. Working. Okay, go ahead.
That has to put out 3 new drugs to
New
the
medical
market within the space of 6 months. Generate a business plan and a marketing plan with market predictive analysis.
What? And sorry.
And a market, I guess, predictive market analysis.
Okay, business plan and a predictive market analysis for this new drug. Pick any drug, should we?
Yep.
Pick any drug. Okay.
It's fine. You already said for this new drug, so that's fine.
Correct
after organization, correct that. Correct the spelling of that. There you go.
To put out 3 new drugs in the market within a space of 3 months, generate a business plan and a predictive market analysis for this new cancer drug. Okay, I have to be specific.
Okay, let's do that quickly.
We'll do a follow-up prompt.
Yeah, okay. You can always follow up on the prompts. So the key is having the skills to utilize to put forward a good request. Because basically AI is you just accessing the data that's in a database and generating whatever you want to.
Categorize the possible risks you encounter. Technology and data risk was listed.
Okay.
It's we're going now into Agile, helps us create the sprint planning for all of the iterations. Let's see what you can do.
Yeah.
Okay, here you go.
And within the space of 10 minutes, you actually have what usually would take you a whole week or more to put together.
Yeah.
And
So
that's the beauty of AI.
that's for short. Our demo.
All right. Yep. So thank you so much, Grace. Thank you so much. So the possibilities are endless. The possibilities are endless. Now, just remember that AI does not really remove your capability from you. It actually enhances it and is a tool that you can use. We also know that the there are so many platforms. So if one is hallucinating, then you can go to the next, just like Grace has also mentioned. I just want to say thank you to you, Grace. I know you have to deal with a lot of competing priorities in this meeting, and then you've handled it so professionally as well. The tech played a fast one on us today as well, and you came up and picked from where you have stopped. And I know a couple of things are going on in the background as well. So thank you so much for being with us today, from sharing with us. Now, it's been impressive. People are saying, thank you, Grace. This is very informative. Thank you so much. That's what is going on the chat at the moment. Now, to you, everyone, one of the promises is you will get things on this platform that will you will go back to your workplace and then you'll be able to practicalize. And I think this is no exception that you'll be able to get one or two things or take one or two things away today. We are rounding up in the next 5 minutes. I just need to mention that. I'll share my screen why I do that. So Grace, thank you so much for sharing your words of knowledge with us. I have also dropped Grace's LinkedIn profile in the chat, so you can look out for that and connect with her if you have further questions when it comes to AI and other emerging technologies. Now, I believe you can see my screen at the moment. For PMI members, if you want to claim your PDU code, that's what we've got on the screen at the moment. And my support team, if you can drop that in the chat as well, that will be very good. That will be very good. The PDU. Thank you so much, Patrick. So the PDU goes there. You claim 1.5 PDUs as a matter of attending today's session. Okay, next month we're going to talk about something that is very good, especially based on what we discussed in our town hall meeting in February about what you want to see, as members of this community. And one of the people that I know in my network will take us around career transitions, right? Emerging technology is here. A lot of people need to pivot from what they currently do to something that matches with the future. Or maybe you are looking at coming to project management as a whole. The session will give you ideas on how to make those transitions, how to navigate your next move. we've got people in the community that have done many transitions, including me, right? And then, but Tony Lasaki will be with us April 16 and talk us through what it takes to navigate your next move. So this is where we're going to stop today. You will receive an email later this weekend or early next week to show you where the recording is in case you want to go back and watch. So until then, I want to say thank you for joining us today, and keep swinging. Elizabeth, I see that in the chat. No worries, you will receive the link to the recording for the next one. So Grace, once again, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. You have delivered as always, and hopefully we'll have you back sometime soon. Thank you so much for joining today. Thank you, everyone. See you
Great
next
job,
week.
Grace. Great job there.
Thank you, big bro. Thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome there. Well done.